The ceremonial hall aboard the Starbridge stood silent as Kara adjusted her grip on the slender crystalline spear. Her blue skin shimmered under the artificial lights, marking her as royalty among the Vale people. Across from her, the human diplomat Tom Matthews waited, his stance casual yet alert. "This is unnecessary," Captain Reed whispered from the sidelines. "We could resolve this through normal channels." Hera's commander, Lord Dren, silenced the human captain with a wave. "Your representative agreed to our terms. The ancient challenge must proceed." 3 solar cycles ago, humans had accidentally crossed into Vale territory. Rather than immediately opening fire as protocol dictated, Tom had somehow transmitted an emergency greeting in passable Vale language. It was this unprecedented act that led to today's ceremony instead of interstellar war. Kara raised the ceremonial spear above her head as the highest-ranked unmarried royal. Tradition demanded she test any potential diplomatic match. The human would fail, of course. None had ever caught the spear in 10,000 years of Vale history. "Begin," Lord Dren announced. Kara's muscles tensed as she studied her opponent. Humans were physically weaker than Vale people, with duller reflexes and no natural armor. Their only advantage was their unpredictability. The delegation had requested this ceremony specifically after studying Vale culture, which made her suspicious. With practiced precision, she launched the spear. It whistled through the air, its path true. Time seemed to slow as Tom's hand shot up. Not to dodge. Every instinct told her he would dodge, but to grasp. His fingers closed around the shaft mere inches from his chest. The hall erupted in gasps. Kara froze, disbelief washing over her. Impossible. Tom held the spear with a steady hand, a slight smile playing on his lips. "I believe this means we're engaged now, according to your traditions." Lord Dren's voice boomed across the hall. "The human has caught the spear of binding. By laws older than our star voyage, Princess Kara is now bound to him." Captain Reed stepped forward, alarm evident on his face. "That wasn't part of our briefing. It was in the cultural documents we sent," Tom said calmly, still holding the spear. Page 347, paragraph 12. Kara approached him slowly, her silver eyes narrowed. "You planned this." "We needed a way to ensure lasting peace between our peoples," Tom replied quietly. "Your tradition states that once the royal spear is caught, both parties are linked for life, and their peoples cannot wage war against each other." "You tricked me," she hissed. "No trick. I studied your ceremonial spear throws for weeks. Your technique is excellent, but consistent." The gathering descended into chaos as diplomats from both sides argued the implications. Kara and Tom stood in the eye of the storm, still connected by the crystalline spear. "Come with me," she commanded, turning toward a side chamber. Once alone, Kara rounded on him. "Do you understand what you've done? I am heir to the 7th Vale. My marriage was to secure alliances among our own kind." Tom set the spear down carefully. "Earth needs this alliance more than you know. The Draxians are massing at your outer borders. Alone, neither of our peoples can withstand them." Her eyes widened. "How do you know about the Draxian movements?" "We've been watching them for years. They destroyed 3 of our outer colonies before we even understood what was happening." Hera paced the small room. "Even if what you say is true, binding yourself to me won't create an instant military alliance. But it prevents immediate conflict between us," Tom countered. "And it gives us time to build something stronger." She studied him with new interest. "You risked your life on the chance you could catch my spear. I'd calculated the risk. What if I had aimed for your head instead of your chest?" Tom smiled. "Your historical texts indicate royal challenges always target the heart. It symbolizes capturing your family's favor." Despite herself, Kara was impressed. This human had studied her people's ways more thoroughly than most Vale citizens. "The binding doesn't require actual marriage," she finally said, "just a lifelong political alliance." Tom nodded. "That's all Earth needs, a door that remains open between our peoples. My council won't accept this easily. Neither will mine, but they'll adapt because the alternative is extinction." Kara picked up the spear, running her fingers along its length. In 10,000 years, no one has caught this spear. Perhaps it was time someone did. When they returned to the main hall, the arguments fell silent. Kara stepped forward, raising her voice to address both delegations. The human Tom Matthews has caught the spear of binding. Our traditions cannot be ignored, even when inconvenient. I accept the bond. Lord Dren looked stricken. Princess, the implications are precisely what we need, she interrupted. The Draxians gather at our borders. The humans have faced them before. Together, we might survive what comes. Captain Reed exchanged glances with his team. You know about the Draxian threat? We've been monitoring their movements for decades. Lord Dren admitted reluctantly. Com stepped forward to stand beside Kara. Then perhaps this unexpected binding serves a greater purpose than either of our peoples anticipated. Kara raised the spear high. By ancient law, I am bound to this human, and our peoples are forbidden from raising arms against each other. Instead, we will face common threats as one. As murmurs of reluctant acceptance spread through the hall, Kara turned to Tom and spoke quietly. You caught my spear through study and practice, not just luck. That deserves respect. And you're willing to adapt centuries of tradition for your people's survival, he replied. That deserves the same. Outside the viewport, stars gleamed against the darkness of space, the same stars that would soon witness the approach of the Draxian fleet. But for the first time in either civilization's history, humans and Vale would meet that threat, not as strangers or enemies, but as allies bound by an ancient tradition and an caught spear. Sometimes, Kara thought, the oldest rules created the newest possibilities.